Coming up now is our Heat 2 for H1 Unlimited. This one is going to be sponsored by Allen Land Surveying, sponsoring our Heat 2 of H1 Unlimited. This fast super speedway on the water here on Lake Guntersville is certified for world records thanks to Brandon and the team at Allen Land Surveying. Thank you, guys. Brandon, you and your team, you do a heck of a job. You got a mighty fast race course here, and we're going to see some pretty hot speeds right here in this one because we got a real heat coming your way. We'll get the rundown here shortly, but we're monitoring the clock. In fact, we're inside 5 to the 5. Is that correct?
It is correct.
All right, so got my able-bodied assistant here. Erica Allreed's going to help me a little bit as the boats come out on the... That thing scares me to death when you put that drone right next to me. That thing takes off. I could lose fingers. Our drone guys are absolutely amazing with what they have done here. But let's take a quick look at the race course, and not so much the course, but the 4 boats that are going to come out in H1 Unlimited Heat 2. It's going to be the U-27, a brand new boat. The Miss Apollo with Dave Vilwalk. It is red, white, and blue. And the guy who's had some trouble so far today, the U9, the pretty much predominantly white boat trimmed in kind of the electric blue, the Beacon Plumbing, he's our defending Guntersville champion, and that would be Corey Peabody. Made 2 runs at the clock during qualifying today. Didn't get any points. Both were taken away for violations. They end up with 0 points after the qualifying. And I know they're not happy about that, but we do know the boat is extremely fast. Then we've got the U91, the Goodman Real Estate with Andrew Tate. And I'm telling you what, whatever the start procedure was for Andrew Tate in the first one, he's going to do something different in the second one because his boat went down. He may have wanted to do that as part of his start procedure without the 80-mile-an-hour rule. That's a legal maneuver, but it took him forever to get the boat back up and running. When he did, he was way behind the field, and he could never really dig out of the hole. He started in 4th place, got himself up to 3rd. Andrew Tate, U91, Goodman Real Estate. Then one of the boats that was involved in that outstanding 2-boat heat that we had in our Heat 1, the Tennessee Orange Bucket List Racing, the U40 with Dustin Eccles. And I'm going to tell you, they showed me an awful lot because they put that boat on the outside of our defending national high points champion, and they were gaining on him and gaining on him and gaining on him. And had we had another couple of buoys to go, I think we may have had a different outcome in that first heat. Erica, I think you're all wired in. That bucket list racing really showed me something in that first heat.
Absolutely, and I don't think we could have gotten a better Heat 1 out of this weekend. That was truly incredible, and given if there was another lap, I'm not sure how that one would have came out and resulted in.
Yeah, it was that was something special, and it's too bad we can't get all of the heats of racing like that. I went to our new chief referee, Jonathan Abbott, who joins H1 Unlimited for the first time this year. I went up to him and I said, by the way, nice job on that first heat. Is that the plan? We're going to do that every heat all year long? He says, that's the idea. Let's make it work because that was fun. So buckle up, Guntersville. Here we go. It is H1 Unlimited Heat 2 presented by Allen Land Surveying. Looking at the clock here, what do we got? Inside 1 minute to the 5-minute mark. Boats can come out on the water now. They will turn them loose at the 6-minute mark. We are there. Erica, I'm going to step out around there and get a better view because I'm not missing these boats.
Understandably.
So if you'd like to follow me around here, I got to carry all my little papers and stuff. Dan Ford, I'm going to try and step behind you here if I can and just get through this little tunnel. I'm getting better at it. Erica, you can come out and join me out here. Oh, she's going to stay back there. All right. 5 minutes and 12 seconds. We got boats out on the race course. Here comes Erica. She's going to come over and stand next to me where we can watch this thing. And I want Erica to come here because 1, 2, 3, 4 boats are now moving out of the pit area. We got 3 entering the top end of the race course. But I think it's interesting that Bucket List Racing and Dustin Eccles had such a great race with J. Michael Kelly in our first heat of the H1 Unlimiteds today. You had an opportunity to to talk with Dustin. What did he have to say about that first heat?
Yeah, chatting with the U40 driver, he said after his qualifying time and that first heat performance, he has a lot of confidence in himself, the boat, and the team's game plan going into the weekend. He said he and the team really worked on the way the boat handles in the off-season, and it paid off in big ways, Brad. And now he said the focus is creeping back up in speed, so I'm curious to see if he can do that here in Heat 2.
Very good. Our fans are just going to notice that Andrew Tate just came across the start-finish line, and just out the right side window was Corey Peabody and the Beacon Plumbing, the U9, following him down there to the lower end of the race course is that bright orange boat driven by Dustin Eccles, with whom you spoke. We look up toward the other end of the race course. Here comes Mr. Vilwalk, and I think you had an opportunity to talk to Andrew Tate as well, and I'm curious what he might have had to say given the situation he had with the boat being behind the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Despite that, Andrew Tate described his boat as beautiful and has everything it needs to be out front and successful, and that's proven in its track record. However, he said he's still learning the hull and fine-tuning things, but that'll come just with time in the driver's seat. He said despite the adjustment, he's already been incredibly impressive in the preseason and in qualifying, and he said Heat 1 was simply just a driver error that he has since learned from.
Yeah, and when they do something like that and have a driver's error like that, the only thing they can do is just erase it from the memory.
Absolutely.
It's not going to do you any good to talk about it. And it looks like we just re-racked the tape here. And with Andrew Tate and Corey Peabody, you want to talk about two of the most competitive guys on the planet. Those are them right there. They both want to win. The other boat in the heat that we didn't talk about, but he came across start-finish line here while we were chatting, was the brand-new U-27 Miss Apollo with Dave Vilwalk. Here comes Dustin Eccles across. Now, watch this. Now it gets a little bit fun. Here goes Dustin. Going to cut the race course. He's going to jump over to the backside. So when Andrew and Corey come off the lower corner, their radio guys are going to say, yeah, well, that boat in front of you is Dustin Eccles. So Eccles is now going to jump over there. Let's see if Dustin doesn't pin this thing on the buoy row and try and garner an inside lane. But again, remember, we don't know exactly what this start procedure is going to look like. They're all trying to feel it out a little bit. And indeed, Dustin did go to an inside lane. Dave Vilwalk cut the race course. He's going to go up there behind everybody. Remember, you have to stay behind the start-finish line at the 90-second mark, 1 minute and a half. Right now, we just went inside 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I am very impatiently waiting to see Dave Vilwalk at a race pace. Given the times that he set in testing and qualifying sessions, it's going to be hard, like you said, with the new procedures before the race, but I'm very excited to see him at race pace.
Yeah, I still think they're going to take this thing easy, though. They are still sorting that boat out, but we're about to see. We're coming up on 5 seconds to the 30 seconds before the start. And now it is, by my look, 130, and it looks to me like everybody is legal and behind the score-up buoy. Now, this is interesting because Corey has a lot of speed. It was a clean score-up. Corey's got speed on the outside. If he can get 5 boat lengths on those 2 boats off to his left, he could move left. I don't know. That would be awfully close. He's trying to do it. You see Andrew and you see Dustin trying to stay with him and not let him get enough overlap. Tough to see from here how that worked, but Corey did. Corey moved to the inside. He didn't get all the way to the inside, but he went from lane 3 into lane 2. He pushed Andrew out a lane. Dustin still able to hold on to that inside lane. Now, whatever lane they are in, when they go past the entrance buoy at the top end of the course, that's the lane they have to race in to the start-finish line, but it's going to be Dustin Eccles in lane number 1. It's going to be Corey Peabody in 2. It's going to be Andrew Tate in 3. Not surprisingly, we're going to have Dave Vilwalk on the outside coming up on 25 seconds to the start. It is H1 Unlimited, Heat 2, presented by Allen Land Surveying. 4 boats at the top end of the race course. Oh, this could be fun. Get your camera ready, fans. This might be a real good look. Coming up on 12 seconds off the top end. That's usually my unofficial timing mark. Here we go. Eccles in 1, Peabody in 2, Tate in 3, Vilwalk on the outside. We're still 2 seconds, 1 second. Mark. Oh, boy, I think once again we may have some gun jumpers, and I'm thinking I think by my look, the first legal starter may have been Andrew Tate in lane number 3, but I'm not going to do that. We'll call them on the water the way they are. And coming off the corner in that position is lane number 1, Dustin Eccles, driving the U40 Bucket List Racing. I think what he's got right with him there is Corey Peabody in the U9. You know, there's 2 boats there. There's actually 3, but I think Corey is the one that is tight to Dustin as they get to the top end of the race course. Remember, we're going to go 4 times around. Now the big walls of water off the skid fins up there. Dustin Eccles in the Bucket List Racing, but I'm not sure about that start. We will wait until we get it officially. But there's a heck of a race going on in second place between Corey Peabody and Andrew Tate. They come down to put one in the book. It's Eccles, it's Peabody, it's Tate in that order. Tate and Corey Peabody are side by side as they go down to the lower end of the race course. Again, we're checking and monitoring the official radio to see what it looks like. And Dustin has lost power. Dustin has lost power at the lower end of the race course. He is down. Now you've got your 2 boats side by side coming off the corner. There may be a question or 2 here about somebody jumping the gun. But at the end of the day, you got 2 guys shooting it out up the backstretch here, halfway, 2/3 of the way up on lap number 2 of 4. Now we'll see what kind of an advantage Corey Peabody has on that inside lane. Andrew Tate's got to give him 30 feet of lane space off the buoy. He's going to hold him in tight, but he's going to give him enough room. Corey with a nice corner up there. And I'll tell you what, Andrew Tate drove him real clean. But look at these 2 guys coming down to complete lap number 2. It is Andrew Tate out by about a boat length and a half on Corey Peabody. You said, Andrea, that you said Andrew was really happy with his boat. Well, it's running extremely well right now. Now, Corey, because of that inside lane, takes the lead, but there is Andrew Tate. We are on lap number 3. Still monitoring the H1 Unlimited radio to find out if somebody jumped, because I think we had a couple, but we're going to call them the way they are on the water. And right now, the way they are in the water is Andrew Tate Goodman Real Estate at the 2/3 mark of the backstretch. He's got about half a rooster tail on Corey. Watch Corey in this top end of the race course and see if he can gobble up Andrew there. Andrew's having some incredible acceleration off of the corners. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, Corey hung it way up in the air on the right side. He was able to land it. He went through the rooster tail of Andrew Tate, and now Tater's going to come down, pick up a white flag with 1 to go. Corey, you put our hearts in our throat on that one. He landed it, he brought it back down, but there was some time there that, well, the drivers will like to tell you it's just spamming a can. You are along for the ride at some point in that. Oh, boy, Corey. All right, now up the backstretch on the white flag lap, it is all Andrew Tate. Again, if they were to ask me, and they won't, but if they were, I believe I would tell you that Andrew Tate was a legal starter. He was certainly appeared to be clean from our vantage point here on start-finish line. I think he's going to come down, pick up a checkered flag, and I think at least on the water, he is going to be our winner of H1 Unlimited Heat 2, presented by Allen Land Surveying. Here comes Andrew. He will look to the right, and he'll get a checkered flag. Andrew Tate Goodman Real Estate. Nice driving, Andrew. And here comes the young man that put our hearts in our throat for a while. He really hung that right sponson for a long time. And it's really a dangerous position when you pick up the outside sponson like that and then you stick it in a rooster tail as Dave Villwalk comes home in 3rd place. It's really dangerous, Erica, when they pick up a sponson like that and then they get the right side of the boat that's already up in the air and they get it into a rooster tail. That usually doesn't end well. I was very glad to see Corey come out the other side, but that was a little scary for a minute.
That one definitely was scary, but I do think that is a testament to him and his driving capabilities to be able to get that thing regained back under control.
Thank you, Dan. You're awesome. Eric and I will find our way back to our little broadcast spot. Thank you, Dan Ford. Wow. Those of you watching on the H1 live stream, we're getting a very good close-up look at the U40 Bucket List Racing. Meanwhile, our other 3 boats have found their way back to the pit area. And very quietly, Dave Villwalk. Very quietly, Dave Villwalk may have just scored himself a second-place finish, but we're going to wait until we get something official. Now, I know they're looking at stuff up there, and they're looking at that start to see if by chance anybody came across a tick or two early. From where I'm standing, I think it was pretty clear, but we'll let them make the call. That's why their shirt says official on it, Erica, and ours doesn't.
I'd say that's a safer bet than what we assume, but yeah, given the vantage point here, I'm very curious to see how that one turns out.
Looking at our schedule, we don't stop here. Randy Jones and Associates Grand Prix Heat 2A is up next. All right, we're getting word here that Corey Peabody did indeed jump the start. He was joined getting across the start-finish line early, apparently by, well, we don't know that for a fact. They're reviewing the start on the U40, but Dustin didn't finish the heat anyway. So the big one there is the U9 and Corey Peabody apparently jumped the start. Yes. All right, so the U9, the Beacon Plumbing, and Corey Peabody jumped the start. We don't run an extra lap now. We add a minute to their time. Wow, very interesting. It was going to be very close to see if the U9 and Corey Peabody would score a second-place finish. Now, he was penalized one lap, but the question was, did he finish 1 minute or more ahead of Dave Villwalk in the U27 to Miss Apollo? He did not. So second place will go to Dave Villwalk in the Miss Apollo, a third-place finish for Corey Peabody and the U9 Beacon Plumbing. So first was Andrew Tate, Goodman Real Estate. Second place, Dave Villwalk, U27 Miss Apollo. Coming in third, the man who scared us there for a while at the top end of the race course, Corey Peabody, U9, the Beacon Plumbing.